So here it is, August the 7th, 2014, and we have completed another trading day, and it really went well for us today in the E-mini. In the E-mini this morning we started out with resistance at 25 to 30 and initial support 10 to 15, and best support we thought was in the 5 to 10 area right down here. So we didn't know about this, but we're fairly confident that support would be in the 5 to 10 area, and our trade recommendation was to sell 24, 26. So if we take this out and we start printing L's below right here, we've had a outside day that tends to, and if we close it weak, the sellers won. And that would point to lower prices tomorrow. In any event, I still remain a seller, at least for stops below 1900 right here. So we'll play it that way. So the screen F1 tells us look for the sell side if we can close it here in this 1905, 1904 area or lower. Looking at the F2 screen, this morning we were sellers 24 to 26, and because this was our first buy zone, and this was our second buy zone when this area held right up here, which was number 1, our trading target became 10. And not only did we get to that area right here in E period, you can see F, G, and H extended on down. And like I said, right now we are knocking on the door for lower prices, and the market is pointed lower. So last rotate up and in period was 6. On the assumption that we close it here at 2, our first sell will be this 5 to 7 area. And our second sell zone will be the 9 to 11. Try to pick this area, this K period high up. And then if we don't extend, take out the overnight session low or today's low, whatever the case might be, we would cover that trade. The 5 to 7 is aggressive, but it's where we are right now. On the buy side, stops below 1900 should give us a little bounce. If 1900 comes out and becomes resistance, then 75 is where the market is headed. And there's volume at 73.75. So if we bust this 1900, it's going to be pretty easy to get down to 73.75. The next volume area beneath the buck would be the 92 area. So if we bust 1900, we'll make 91.92 by 2. And we'll see how she plays. But do like the short side of the market. The strength in the financials is coming directly from the weakness in the indexes. You can see that we got a higher low, which gave us a higher high right here. So this makes us a buyer. And everybody says, well, you know, it can't be that simple. It is that simple, but there's a lot that goes into this, just be, you know, a higher low and a higher high. Number one, this is your cap flow screen. So by definition, we're saying this is where the large institutions play. And you can see that volume is moving higher in each of these distributions, or at least holding its own. And so volume is moving up through time. That means the buyers are in control. So once you understand the significance of this and what to actually look for, then a higher low yielding a higher high starts to make some sense. So this screen has us a buyer. This will be confirmed on F2. It's a pretty strong P. And we've just gotten a new range extension up based on weakness in the E-mini. 126 is a barrier, but the next trade really is this 3.5 to 4. So the trade tonight will be to, assuming we close right here, self-failure to take out 126.04. On the buy side, we have a low at 24.5, a low at 25.5, and a low at 27. The top of value is 28, so we'll make 24, 28 buy 1 for Globex. If the E-mini has rallied back up, if the ES is higher, we do not want to be long at our number 1 level. Our number 2 level is 17 to 21, and I can buy there in any event. So strong market, a lot of the strength is based on weakness in the E-mini. Europe really got some bad news today with these Russian sanctions, and one of the articles, I mean, if it really were true, I mean, they can't be that damn dumb. Europe, some of the European ministers howled about Russia responding to their sanctions with sanctions of their own. Now, they're not really onerous in the sense, I mean, they've restricted food stuff unless you own a company that was exporting food to Russia, then they would hurt. But communist governments respond tit for tat, and they're designed for the maximum propaganda impact and for the maximum amount of pain, but not necessarily changing the longer-term relationship of having to cooperate with each other. If they wanted to do that, they'd just fire some missiles or artillery shells over the border, and they don't do that. So to be somebody is high in the ruling structure and to come out and say, what's up with this, Russia? Why are you retaliating against our sanctions? It's kind of ludicrous if you think about it. Although some of the stupidity that comes from government decisions made here you'd be able to understand how they could say something like that pretty easily off the top of their head. So the thing that amazes me is that we yield so much control, and they just did it again in the VA. The VA is screwed up, give us more money and we'll fix it. I mean, give me a break. These guys couldn't fix jack with what they really have right now, an infinite amount of money because they're printing it. And they sit up and they scream and howl that the problem's not enough money. The problem is how they administer these programs, and no one's held accountable. And it's vote buying time every 2 to 4 years. So in gold, we're in this high volume area here where we're going to sell failure. Sec. So we got this 13 to 17 that's resistance, and we've got 20 to 22 for sell 2. I think the easiest trade to see is failure to extend the day sessions highs right here, and we have a pretty good chance for London to sell. The breakout came in this 10 to 12 area, so 10 to 12. given a weak E-mini on the close. I think represents buy 1. It was resistance. It's now support. And then we'll move it up to 5 to 7 for buy 2. Okay, forgot the bond, our favorite contract. Take a quick look at that. The knob spread widened today. The long-term players there, as he has been, you get maybe 2 days of selling, sometimes 3 in the knob, and they come right back in and buy it. And the reason they do that is because of the economic situation and the political instability that we're seeing around the globe. So, I mean, selling failure to take out 12 to 16 will be the easiest trade to see. And then 20 to 24 will be sell too. I mean, we're in new territory here for the last 6 months, so. And we're up here because of the knob spread. Last rotate down was the buck. We're at 11, so 1 to 5 will be buy 1, assuming the E-mini is sideways to lower. And then 25 to 29 will be buy 2. Looking at crude oil. The tit for tat, the activity in Ukraine and Russia is getting bigger, but the thing to me would be direct intervention in Iraq that would take this contract up. And I mean, things are grim over there, but this is nothing new. I mean, if you're on the losing side over there in your mail, you get put to the knife. It's the way it's been for 5,000 years or longer. If you're a female, you're taken in as slavery, or forced to live with people that you don't want to live with in today's age. So it's just the way of that part of the world. And so 40,000 people trapped because they're of the wrong religion for political purposes. It creates terror, which meets their ends. The biggest, baddest guys on the face of the earth, they come after you, you better run because you're going to get killed if you don't do otherwise. Does all sorts of things. So everyone is happy with that one. Yeah, terrorists, everybody else. Our first sell is going to be failure to get to the 75.98 and 98.25 to 50, which is getting close to the top of the band. On the buy side, I don't see the supply being interrupted, but we'll be subject to Iraqi headlines and what the United States is going to do. And if the New York Times is floating trial balloons for this administration, there's better than a 50-50 chance they'll do something. On the buy side, last rotate down was 97.15, then 96.80, so we're at 57. So I'm going to give it a little room, 96.75, buy 1. But if we get more headlines that things are escalating, we won't be able to get close to that. So we're tied down to a headline. And the euro. Okay, our 33.40 to 50 area is holding up pretty well, as is our 34 area for resistance. So the market sold today off the news out of Russia and the sanctions, but we failed to break support right here. So we're at 66 right now, so our first buy will be 40 to 50. That's not a trade I really like, but that's the structure. And then our trade will be 80 to 90 for sell 1. And then 34.10 for sell 2. And then if we bust support at 30, we're going to go down to 33.10 for buy 2. And that's all I have for August the 7th, 2014. Had a great day of trading. This has just got to make everybody happy.